All right. All right, we are live. Welcome. Okay. Y'all know how me and this technology be doing. So welcome to the O.P.P Vibes. For those who watch my videos often, you know that I like to play one whole song all the way through before we get started. That gives us time to, there we go. That gives us time to share the room, invite people in. Of course, if you are in our private Facebook group, just tag someone who you know will benefit from the conversation or can add some good insight to the conversation. So we're going to listen to old school song. Aging myself with this one, Money, Power, Respect, from the Locks, DMX, and Lil Kim. So let's Money, Power, Respect, because tonight's room is all about that. Does money equal power in the household, in the relationship? So we're going to talk about that tonight. I'm just sharing the room and pinging people in here on Clubhouse. So enjoy the music while this is happening. Alrighty, we are sharing. That's when my connection be acting all kinds of crazy. All kinds of crazy. Okay, there we go. Ping a few folks in this room tonight. And so, if you have sensitive ears, apparently Spotify plays the real versions of stuff that I be just finding out like the day of. But I love my songs. Money, Power, Respect, because apparently money does kind of equal power. But we're really going to talk about this, how that works inside the household. And are you able to recognize when it becomes financial abuse? Because that's a real thing. I am hoping that I can get my financial lady to come on in here, because she may have some words for us. I'd love to hear whenever she's able to come in and talk. And this song is pretty long, so I may not play this one all the way through, because y'all know I get antsy and I just like to start talking. Just how I am. Money, Power, Respect. Plus, we don't need the whole song because we always can go into it. So, you know, we are here for up to 1 hour only. You know, all of my rooms, I don't like to keep you longer than what I have to. So, we're going to get started here in about 30 more seconds. I'm just making sure that all of my technology is on cue. And I also like to talk over my songs because I do upload this to YouTube for you guys to have continued access to the videos. And I talk over it because YouTube likes to ding me for having music. So I'm rocking the Rudy ponytail tonight. If y'all don't know who Rudy is, go watch the Cosby Show. You'll understand what this ponytail is all about. Gotta at least get my DMX in there. Money, Power, Respect. Money, Power, Respect. Okay. You'll see the lights. Alright, thank you, Locks, DMX, and Lil Kim for bringing us into tonight's O.P.P Vibe, formerly known as Sex and Relationship Chat. I am your host, life coach, and certified sexologist, Coach K, here bringing you another life topic. Tonight's title of the room is, Does Money Equal Power in the Household? With a subtitle of, Would You Be Able to Recognize Financial Abuse? So, in the grand scheme of things, just naturally in life, money essentially does equal power. So how does that work when we are in the household, in a relationship? How does that work? Welcome to everybody that's just joining us in the room. I'm fixing my lighting because there we go. Got to make sure that I'm looking all nice and shiny. So how does that work when we're in a relationship? So if we think about it, the person that has the money can make a lot of decisions. They can sway decisions. They can kind of almost do what they want to do. So let's scale that back off of in the world and bring that into the household. When we think of a parent-child relationship, the parent makes the money, right? So they have the power. Now, does the person with the power control the household? That's when we want to be careful, and why I ask, are you able to recognize financial abuse? Everyone cannot. We just, and some people may still be in this turmoil coming on the tail end of the pandemic, and there was a lot of financial struggles that were happening, and honestly, the backlog is still happening. And so there was an influx of inequalities in relationships when it comes to finances, and a lot of relationships ended or became very strained. Yes, being in the house with someone who you barely got to know from the beginning, or you used to use work as an excuse to get away from, had something to do with it. Don't get me wrong. But as we're seeing a lot of the financial strains and effects of this past 18 plus months, we're seeing some really uneasy situations happening. People who are, maybe one partner is no longer working and the other still is. And so that power shift begins to open up. We as couples, partners, even in a child-parent relationship, we have to be very level-minded and open-minded when we think about what are we doing with our finances and how do we not become dictators and controllers inside the household. Because just the truth of the matter is, again, money does equal power, but power does not necessarily translate to control. When someone takes their power and they start to use it as a controlling mechanism, that's when we go into that slippery slope of potential of financial abuse situation. So some things that may be deemed as financially abusive would be not allowing your partner to work, and right on the opposite scale of that, one of the partners not wanting to contribute financially to the household. When there are accounts that are being hidden from one partner or the other. When purchases are being made without input of both parties. One manipulative statement that comes up when I think of a financial abusive situation, a conversation may go like this. Hey, so-and-so, I know that you're really tired. You seem really stressed. Maybe you should not work, stay at home, and just let me take care of all of the finances. Or even if they say, why don't you just let me take care of all the finances, even though, they're still working. And so then they're doing things with the finances that they're not allowing the other partner to be a party of. Thus, they're taking control over the situation. And that's potentially going into that realm of financial abuse. there are many different facets and avenues of what abuse looks like. It does not always look like the traditional physical abuse if someone's getting hit, or verbal abuse when someone's getting yelled at, or mental abuse when someone's playing mind games. Financial abuse is real. It does not just happen in relationships. You could also be financially abused in the workplace. So if we think about an employee who is working, and instead of getting an increase for the load of work that's being added to their plate, the company is just adding without financially compensating, that is a form of financial abuse. They're using their money power to have control over your situation. Many people will just accept the extra task. They will prefer not to make any waves or say anything because they don't want to lose their job altogether. When you become scared, nervous, anxious about saying, hey, I've been adding these tasks to myself, but I'm not getting financially compensated. When you start to get into that realm, you could potentially be an abuse victim. So we think about that in the household. And I have some things that you should consider, and honestly, in a relationship that you should make sure is happening, even when one party is making more than the other, or if one party is working and the other is not. These aspects should be utilized in a relationship to keep the power balance equal, and so no one starts to try to control the situation. So, in a relationship, you absolutely should have joint accounts. If you have a joint account and you choose to have an individual account, you should absolutely let your partner know. They don't necessarily have to have access to it, but not hiding your financial situation is going to be key and vital in a happy, healthy, and balanced marriage or relationship. You want to openly discuss all lifestyle changes. This means if you lost your job, you should be immediately discussing that with your partner, not keeping it from them and finagling things around, because that's a major lifestyle change. If you're with a child, if you are going to purchase a car or a house or rental property, those are lifestyle changes that you absolutely should be discussing with your partner openly. It's not to ask for permission versus being open with your partner who's living this life with you about what's financially happening in your relationship. The next one is you want to recognize the differences in your money mindsets. We all have different financial mindsets. When we come together as one, we're so googly-eyed and in love and in lust and loving the physical aspects, and we are doing all, we may talk about some superficial things, but you really should recognize, identify the differences in your financial mindset. Ask questions. Pay attention to what your partner is doing. How are they making their purchases? Do they balance a checkbook? Do they know how to? Do they pay their bills on time, or do they pay them late? Are they a fly by the seat of their pants versus someone who saves and has a savings? You want to be able to identify the differences in your mindset so that you are prepared when you're in this relationship for any differences that will come up. That way, you're not blindsided or just angry when you find out that your partner, who has never balanced a checkbook, just bounced 3 checks because they just assumed that the money was in the bank. That is a really, really, really strong and important one to recognize. And then once you know those differences, you make the decision if that's something that you want to move forward with, or if you all want to work on how to make an accommodation so that you both are on the same page with your financial mindset. You don't have to be exact parallel, but just so you have some idea of a common ground with each other. The next one is you don't let salary differential come between you. Ooh, I've seen this. Someone who makes six figures, say they have a salary of $120,000, and they find themselves in love with someone who makes $80,000. Well, the one partner is making twice as much as the other, and so they may feel like they have the power, and that power might turn into control. You want to be very careful with that, to not allow that salary difference to come in between the relationship that you have. The next thing is keep purchases open. No matter what it is. Of course, if you're going to buy a $5 pack of socks at Kroger, go buy the socks. If you're going grocery shopping, you can just say, hey, I'm going grocery shopping. I'll probably end up spending about $150. That's something that you want to at least discuss openly. Not necessarily a back and forth debate, but just a heads up. Because here's the thing. Say that you're going to make these groceries and you say, I'm going to spend about $100, $150. Your partner knows that there's about 2 things that's going to come through the bank and may say to you, oh, you may want to be careful. Maybe keep your budget at about $75 because I do have a few things that's coming through and I won't be able to make a deposit for another 3 days. Boom. Easy peasy. By keeping that purchase open, something as small as a grocery store with an estimated budget, it makes a difference in you guys having an overdraft fee versus not. The next thing is you want to set expectations together. When are we going to pay the bills? What salary range do we each need to be in order for us to sustain happily and healthily? What is our price point when we're out shopping for a new house? What is the price point for a new car? You want to make sure that you're setting. I expect you to not spend over $300 when you go shopping with your girlfriends next week. You want to set those expectations together. That's a conversation and discussion. And of course, don't let the kids run the show. Kids will get you in trouble. We have 5 of them here, and they're always doing something between cheerleading, basketball, dance, video games, whatever. They're always doing something. Be very careful with that piece, because if you start to allow the children to run the show, they have little to no sense about finances. What they know is you make money, I want to spend money, and thus I'm going to keep asking you for stuff. So if you are allowing the kids to run the show, and there's one parent that always gives in, and every other day you're buying these video games and you're racking up these charges without letting your partner know, that's going to cause conflict in your relationship. So be very careful of that. So, as you guys know, we do a lot this time for up to an hour, but what I don't like to do is just hold you guys here for no reason whatsoever. So I'm going to do a quick recap of tonight. Of course, if anyone has anything to add to the discussion, definitely feel free to do so. And if you are catching the replay, #replay and let me know your thoughts. Give us some insight, especially in our private Facebook group. We are in the Own Your Ish Sis private Facebook group, where we as women, we hold each other accountable for just about everything. And this is a very good discussion for that, with the topic of, does money equal power in the household? Absolutely yes. It does equal power. However, we have to be in a place where we do not allow that power to become control. No one in any relationship should have control over the other. Very good example. And I only like to speak about things that I have experienced personally. I do not like to openly discuss my clients' details. But in our household, May 2020, I lost my job. My husband continued to work. And so at that time, I just began to focus everything on my 5 businesses that I run and putting everything into that. And while that was actively continuing to be built, he's the breadwinner. He's bringing in 6 figures per year, where I need to work back up to where I was getting per year. Our power, it never was off balance. Simply because, just like I listed off, we already had expectations of what is needed in the household every month to maintain the lifestyle that we live. We have 3 of the 5 children that are still in the household. One that is an active now cheerleader and was a dancer. So we know we have those expenses. We know we have the basic bills that are happening. Plus, me and my Amazon habit. Yeah, we know that. And so with us already knowing what the budget needs to be every month to come in, we know what he needs to bring to the household. I know what I need to bring to the household. But that comes with having an establishment well over 15 years ago that was set, that every once in a while when we have different lifestyle changes, we discuss what it looks like. So my lifestyle change was I no longer had a guaranteed steady paycheck coming in from a company. Now I am the company and I have to get it to that place where it is a steady paycheck. And so the money that is mostly earned by my husband gives him power. However, he does not try to control what's happening in the household because we together balance our power out. That's going to be very important. Having those financial discussions on the front end is going to be one of those pillars and those foundations for what you build your entire relationship on. And granted, no one wants to talk finances. I get that. But eventually it's going to come up. Because what you don't talk about today shows up as an issue or roadblock later. So be open to having those financial conversations on the front end. And here's another thing. Whenever a woman begins to speak about finances, she could potentially become labeled as, just superficial. She's a gold digger, blah, blah, blah. Ladies, it's okay. You know what? If that's the stigma that you're receiving from this potential partner, then you know where they stand. You make that choice if you stay in that or not. Men, you absolutely need to have that financial discussion on the front end. Be okay with if you meet a woman who is making more than you, or you meet a partner who you want to be with and they make more than you. It's okay. Have that financial discussion on the front end. You can say to this new partner, I'm used to being the breadwinner. It may take me some time to get used to not being the higher paid person, but I'm willing to learn how to balance this thing out with you. Are you open to moving forward? Because here's the thing, the partner that you just met might say, well, I want somebody that's making what I make or more, and they may choose to walk away. That wasn't your person, and it's perfectly okay. But what you know is that you put the information out on the front end, which gives you and that partner that you've met the opportunity to make a decision to stay or not. So, yes, money does equal power in the household. Our goal in that household is to ensure that that power does not become controlled by being out of whack or watching for things becoming a financial abusive situation. Really quickly, I'll list the things that you need to be doing in your relationship or marriage to ensure that the power of the money person does not become a control factor and potentially a financial abusive position. So you want to have those joint accounts. If you choose to have individual accounts in addition to that joint account, let each other know. You don't have to give them access, but that financial story is out in the open. You want to discuss any lifestyle changes. The day I lost my job, I called my husband, let him know, filing for unemployment. This is what's going to be coming in. This is what I need you to bring into the household moving forward. Discuss all lifestyle changes with each other. Recognize the differences in money mindsets. All of us are going to have different mindsets when it comes to money. Recognize those and work forward with them. Don't let salary differences come between you. What someone makes does not mean today, does not mean that's what they're going to make tomorrow. So don't let salary differences come between you. Keep purchases out in the open. Doesn't matter what it is. You're not asking for permission. You're just making sure that you put it out there, because if you all have a joint account, one may know that some things are coming out, or you may have forgotten some things are coming out. So you always want to keep those purchases in the open. Set expectations together. This is our budget. This is what I want. I want you to balance the checkbook this week. I want us to not spend this. When we buy the car, this is what we're going to have. Set those expectations together. And the last one is, don't let the kids run the show. They have no real financial compass, and it could really drive you in the ground. So I'm hoping that you'll take this information, have those conversations with your partner or potential partners that you meet on the front end of those relationships before you move further into it, because money, finances is one of the top destroyers of all relationships, marriages, family, careers, self. It's one of the top destroyers of all of that. So I hope that you guys take some from these discussions. Always feel free, if you have any things that you want to discuss or you need to set up a discovery call, absolutely reach out to me. I'll make sure I send you that link. And just a few reminders before we head out. Registration for the Fools in Love Couples Retreat is open. That is March 31st through April the 3rd, 2022. Yes, finances is going to be one of the topics that we tackle that weekend. That is a full weekend of reconnection, rekindling, and love lessons for each other. Registration for the Intimate Moments Academy is open as well. That is going to be online 2 days on November the 19th and 20th. In addition to that, starting November 1st, we are going to be doing the 30 Days of Intimacy. Yes, this is completely free. If you want to be a part of 30 Days of Intimacy, text the word intimacy to 804-967-4551. And here's the amazing thing. There is not a single day of those 30 days that intercourse is involved. Straight 30 days of intimacy. That kicks off on November 1st. For you to be a part of that 30 days of intimacy, text the word intimacy to 804-967-4551. And to my newsletter recipients and my private Facebook group, early release on a very, very amazing event is coming just for you. Tickets will be released to you 5 days before the public. You will have access. So if we sell out, hey, the rest of you guys, sorry, you want to be a part of that private Facebook group, go to CoachK101.com, ladies only. And the last thing is, next Saturday, October the 30th, we have Dance for Our Life. It is a Zumba class. It's going to be here in Richmond, Virginia. It will also be streamed live if you want to join. This is for awareness and celebration of life for all survivors of domestic violence as well as breast cancer, and for those who fought a good fight but they have succumbed to those situations as well. So you can find all of those events on Eventbrite. If you go to Coach K, COACHKAY, you go to my profile, you will find all of those events there. So I enjoyed talking with you all this evening. I appreciate you so much. And the last thing is, do not forget, you can go and get your copy of the 5 characteristics of a stimulating relationship. It is available right now on Amazon in paperback as well as electronic form. So get your copy, 5 characteristics of a stimulating relationship. This is your ultimate relationship guide. All right, guys, enjoy your day. I am going to cook dinner, and I will talk to you on Friday for the midday quickie, ladies only. Y'all have a good night. Bye, everybody.